going to fit in for a show. I know you have a lot of hipster friends. You teach me how to dress like a hipster. He said, just dress like you're homeless. I think the grill cover adds a nice touch. Oh, I wish I had known. This is the second show I've headlined this weekend. That's a huge honor. I got to headline the Virginia Funny Bone on Sunday. And I'm going to say that this bathroom on the side of the house is a lot cleaner. The green room is nice. I like a clean bathroom. Luke was talking about the abortion clinics getting closed down in Ohio, and we owe John Kasich, who's also running for president still, which I think is giving Ohio a bad name, that he's still in the race, right? He's like waiting to date the prom queen. It's like Kyle's cousin with Down syndrome, waiting to date the quarterback. No good chance. I did a show. I was in Virginia this week, and we did a show at the club. But on Saturday, we went to Smithfield Farms. They make Virginia hams. Apparently, Virginia ham is a certified legal certification. Just for the soil content in the meat. But I got to go there with the headliner, and the headliner called because he was invited, and he was like, I need an extra ticket for you because this is like a private event. It's a VIP. We're going to be in the VIP tent. And the VIP tent was about as warm as this. But he was like, I sent this text to the guy. I said, I'm going to need a ticket for my friend. He's coming with us. But just a heads up, I know this is Virginia. My friend is black. And he was like, I was just joking with the guy. But he sent me a text back, and he was like, yeah, that's totally cool. You don't. That's not a problem here anymore. Which made me feel a lot better, right? But then we got there, and I could hear people whispering to each other, and they were like, I thought he was bringing a black guy with him. Maybe the black guy couldn't show up. We got a stand-in black guy. It was a nice club, and they had, it's like in a mall. It's kind of like in one of these outdoor malls, but the whole city is the outdoor mall. It's not even like the Green or Fairfield Commons or anything. It's like they actually built the city around this outdoor mall kind of shit. And there's not like a lot of stuff for black guys to do there. There's no like Lane Bryant or anything like that. And I feel like that's how you keep the criminal element out. But they did have some similarities to what we have right here in Kettering and Beaver Creek and stuff. They had, like, we have the Rob Dyrdek skate park, right? He donated a fucking skate park, right? Which is some white shit. That's some real white shit to donate. And at this place, they had a fountain in the front, and it was like donated by some white lady artist or whatever with these cranes and shit. I just thought, that's really white of people. Like white people like donate fountains and fucking skate parks and shit. Black people, we have to get our shit donated posthumously, you know. Like, well, he's dead. Let's give him a street. That's fair. I used to live in a house very similar to this, and it was the first time I ever had a rodent problem. And by saying like a rodent problem, I had a mouse one time. And it's funny because when you have a mouse, you kind of go through the same phases of like addiction or whatever. You have like the denial phase, and then you have like somebody saying, hey, you got a fucking problem. Somebody who's been through it before usually. It's like an intervention. Like, this is how the mouse in your house is affecting me. And I literally thought I saw this mouse like probably 4 or 5 times before I actually listened to somebody telling me, look, you got a fucking mouse. This is what mouse shit looks like. So I went and bought one of those humane glue traps because I'm a fucking hippie from Yellow Springs. You guys know this. And I didn't realize how inhumane a humane glue trap fucking was. And what made it like so bad was I bought the traps. It comes with 2. Only needed 1. I caught this motherfucker in 30 seconds. He really didn't think we were very smart. He was like, I've been living here for like a month, running over the counters. These motherfuckers don't care. So I get the glue trap and I set it like on the fucking counter right where I'd seen him last, and I can catch him in like 30 seconds. And then comes the problem. Like 30 seconds to catch him, and it took like literally like 2 hours to figure out how we're gonna get rid of this guy. My buddy was a construction worker, and he was like, listen, what we'll do is we'll just like kind of like get him off the glue trap, poke him with a stick, you know, into a jar, and I'll release him at work tomorrow. It's like 45 minutes away. I don't think you'll find his way back. Yeah, once he's on the fucking glue, there's no stick poking him off. We found out once one of his legs broke off. It was like a lot of screaming and stuff, yeah. Fuck him, he shit all over my couch. He's got 4 legs, he can use one. So like, poking him into the jar quickly became like, let's just fucking throw him in the trash can. And so like, the outside trash can, which is like on the outside like here, and we're in the house over here, right? We put him in there, and fucking 10 minutes after we do that, we hear, like this screaming, screeching sound coming from the trash can. So we're like, fuck, we can't leave him out there. It's so cold. And we're going through like these different ideas of like how we're gonna euthanize this rat. And he was so cute. He was like, it looked like a pet mouse that somebody let go, and he just found his way into our house. And if you want to know how you get a mouse in your house, it's this. This is exactly how you get it. Strangers, lots of people in and out. Somebody might have one in their pocket. I see that. It wouldn't surprise me if Dan had one that he feeds during this set. Long story short, we end up deciding to burn the motherfucker alive. Relax, with gasoline. We didn't put a stake out, but we had like this sloped driveway, but it had like a little dip in it, right? So we're like, we'll just put a little puddle of gasoline. We'll float the little box in there because it's like completely covered, and then we'll light that, right? But the problem came because like it's gasoline, right? It's fucking flammable. And, I didn't know how to like make a fuse to the big pool of gasoline. And so I was like, all right, well, let's make a little trail of gasoline to the big pile of gasoline, which turns into an even bigger pile of gasoline. There's no making a trail when you've got a fucking can of gasoline. It's literally like now you've got 6 piles of gasoline. We light it on fire. And if you thought the screams from just being in a trash can were loud, nothing likes being burned alive, I found out. I'm dealing with it. The problem was that afterwards we go back inside and we're smelling like gasoline and mouse fumes and shit. We're sitting on the couch and he says, he's like, you know what we should have done? We should have just stuck the box on the end of the car and started it up, of the tailpipe, and just fucking like I would have done for myself. So what I'm saying is when you get a mouse in the house, you clearly are going to. How much time have I done, Dan? Because I literally am shivering.
9 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. I really didn't think the show was going to make it this long. If you guys are wondering, this is not typical for comedy. And I have like some mixed emotions about me. I'm probably the oldest guy here, and I feel like I have like some mixed emotions because I feel like The Neighbors, nobody was hoping that this show would get shut down more than me. I got shit to do tomorrow. nice neighborhood, and that's probably why I feel bad, and I should have been prepared for that, because when I entered the address into my GPS, it was like, to reach your destination, turn white. But I do have kind of an old GPS. It's kind of old-timey. I think it's like an Underground Railroad GPS. Because it always takes me on back roads. It never takes me on the roads. So we stay off the interstate from here. It literally took me straight to the church parking lot, and it was like, from here we go on foot. Toward the house with the light in the window. You guys have been a lot of fun. I don't know how to end a show in the garage, but we'll try. I'm from Yellow Springs, and I know we have a couple people from Yellow Springs here, and it's tough being a comedian from Yellow Springs. Especially because when I go to like people's dinner parties and I show up with my award-winning brownies, people start making assumptions. They're like, watch out for Adrian's brownies. They might have marijuana in them. Joke's on them, I make Coke brownies. Bet you can't eat just one. I'm working on a new recipe for meth muffins. Because brownies are so bad for your teeth. You guys know how that works, yes. When you do that show, you do that kind of joke in like a really fancy club, people never laugh at that second part. I'm like, you need to stop paying at the pump, go into the gas station. See the meth mouth that resides. I stayed in a really nice hotel this week, and that's one of the signs that you know you're doing the right thing in comedy when you stay at nice hotels, and the club puts you up in a nice hotel, and sometimes they put you in a motel, and you guys know the difference between a hotel and a motel, right? It's safety. In a hotel, your room opens up to an interior hallway that has light and heat. In a motel, it doesn't matter the fucking chain, the state you're in. That front door opens up to fucking Detroit. There's pimps and hookers out there. It's fucking terrible. I was in South Carolina recently, and I was staying in a motel, and it was a shitty motel, and all the doors to the rooms opened up to the main street sidewalk. And I was terrified, and I didn't want the front desk to know I was scared, so when I checked in, I said, I've been driving all day. I don't want to be disturbed. And she's like, well, don't be silly, just put the do not disturb sign on the door. No, it'll bother you. The door's open to the fucking sidewalk. If I put something on the door, that's how those fuckers will know I'm in there. But I put the do not disturb sign on the door, and don't you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, a stranger comes knocking on my door, and I'm pissed off, because this stranger looks nothing like the person I ordered on Craigslist. So I sent Dan Seabury home. I said, look, buddy, how did you get to South Carolina? This has been really fun. This is the best show I've ever done without being able to feel my legs. Really, really good stuff. Okay, I'll get out of here. I'll get out of here. I feel like this is the big idea, right? Yeah. We're in an election cycle right now, and shit's getting ugly, especially on social media. And I feel like it's progress. And you know it's progress because it's fucking painful, right? Like, that's how you know you're in a growth phase, is when shit's really ugly and painful. You know, it's like the difference between getting sprayed with a fire hose with the hose attached or not. You know what I'm saying? When we do it, it's fun, but when somebody puts a fire hose on and sprays us with it, it's a civil rights thing. But I feel like with what we're dealing with right now, we have Obama, right? But we got Obama because he's the opposite of Bush, and Bush was the opposite of Clinton, right? And now we've got Trump, who's the opposite of a human being. And I feel like that makes more sense. But we know we're in a growth phase, but it's the racism, I think, that's really kind of like rearing its head. People are saying it's worse than it's ever been, it's worse than it's ever been. And I don't know, because it was pretty bad when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, people used to try to say things to upset me about my race, you know, because I'm biracial. And they would say things like, oh, well, you're just a fucking Oreo. That's a delicious fucking cookie. But I had somebody one time, they're like, oh, well, you know what it's like, because you're one of those Milanos. Excuse me? Did you say Milano? I was like, yeah. I was like, I think you're confused. A Milano is a Pepperidge Farm cookie. It's layered, it's got shortbread. It's delicious, just like biracial people. But kids would get really mean. They'd say things like, oh, well, you're just diet black. That's mean. And strangely very accurate. It's tough being biracial because nobody ever understands what it really means, and I think it's a complex time that we live in right now. People always ask this question when I bring up the topic of being biracial, and people come up to me after shows and they have this question, and they're like, well, my mom is from Canada, my dad's from Mexico, am I biracial? And I say, hell yeah, you're biracial. Fuck yeah. I had a guy come up to me one time, he's like, well, my mom's from Pakistan and my dad's from Sweden, am I biracial? I said, fuck yes, you're biracial. I did this show on Sunday, and a guy came up to me at the end of the show, and he was like, well, my mom is from China, and my dad is from Japan. Am I biracial? And I told him, I said, hell fucking no. Nigga, you Asian.